Ever since Duke had been found, the Finn controller had purchased the abandoned Mid-Sodor tracks to become an extension of the Skarloey Railway. The line weaved east through the mountains and valleys in the heart of the island, terminating near Ulfsted. Along this line was a cliff near the old castle, where a large and mysteriously round boulder sat. The Finn controller had decided to build a new quarry, as it was full of valuable stone. As Rusty inspected the line, they eyed it suspiciously. "Can a boulder even be that round?" they remarked. "Nature works in mysterious ways," replied Mr. Hugh. "Well, yes, but that doesn't look like a naturally made boulder," argued Rusty. "It seems man-made, almost as if it were a weapon." "Don't be daft," laughed Mr. Hugh. "I'm serious," brooded Rusty. "I don't know if it's safe to build a quarry." "Well, Percival's already purchased the land, so there isn't much we can do about it." Rusty arrived at the transfer yard near the old mine at the tail end of Thomas's branch line. Thomas and Percy were listening to Bertram tell daring tales from his days on the old railway. "Pay no attention to him," smirked Rusty. "Half the stuff he says is made up." "Speak for yourself, it's quite entertaining," wheezed Thomas. "How's the new quarry coming along?" peeped Percy. "They're set to open tomorrow," said Rusty. "But there's a weird, mysterious boulder at the peak of the mountain." "I happen to know something about that, dear Rustum," perked up Bertram. "You do?" replied Rusty. "Also, that's not my name." Bertram sizzled excitedly. "Why, yes, that boulder isn't just a rock, but a wrecking ball. It was built by medieval stonecutters under order of King Godred." "Whatever for?" puzzled Percy. "Godred's army positioned it atop that cliff overlooking the narrow gorge where invading armies would charge through. His plan was to unleash it and crush the invaders." Thomas, Percy, and Rusty were most intrigued. "So it is a weapon!" exclaimed Rusty. "Why is it still there then?" asked Thomas. "That would be because the king was slain before he was given the chance to use it. But legend has it that his spirit possesses the boulder, ready to attack anyone who disturbs his sleep." "Okay, now that's just uncanny," chuckled Percy. "It couldn't be any more canny, Perseus, for I've met the spirit of Godred several times in the mine. We've got unfinished business." "Speaking of the mine, shouldn't you probably be getting back to it now?" came a voice. Edward steamed in with a supply train. "Why, of course, Eduardo," grinned Bertram as he exited the yard. "He's certainly a character," giggled Edward. "What's that behind you?" inquired Rusty. A large orange construction vehicle sat on Edward's flatbed. "This is Thumper. He's come to drill rock from the new quarry." "Nice to meet you, Thumper," greeted Percy. Thumper didn't respond. Instead, he just stared somberly. "He isn't very talkative," responded Edward. "Hasn't said a word to me the whole way here." "Well, I'm sure he'll be really useful regardless," puffed Thomas. And indeed, he was. Thumper pounded away at the cliffs, generating 2 tons of stone just on his first day. But as they worked, Rusty couldn't stop looking at Boulder. "I can't help but feel like it's watching us." "It's a rock, Rusty," said Mr. Hugh. "It doesn't even have eyes." "What King Godred does," muttered the little weasel. Later that day, dark clouds swirled and rain began to fall, so the workers decided to call it a day. Rusty was now all alone with Boulder. They waited anxiously for Mr. Hugh to finish his business. Suddenly, a rock fell in front of them, just inches away from their buffers. Rusty went stiff with fear. Did you see that?" they stammered. "It tried to hurt me." "That's just the rain loosening the cliffs," dismissed Mr. Hugh. "Come on, let's get home." "I think it's Boulder telling us to go away," murmured Rusty. As they exited the quarry, Rusty glanced up at Boulder one last time. A chill ran through their radiator, for they swore they could see a face. The next morning, Rusty confided in Rennius and Skarloey at the transfer yard. "Bertram's definitely pulling your wheels," advised Skarloey. "But how does that explain what I've seen?" shivered Rusty. It's probably just your imagination, soothed Renius. You'll probably feel better once you start work. Later, Rusty was idling at the quarry as Thumper drilled away. Maybe I am just seeing things, they sighed. Just then, the drilling stopped and an eerie silence filled the quarry. The silence was broken by the sound of rocks crumbling. It's moving! Screamed an unfamiliar voice. Rusty's eyes darted around the quarry before suddenly realizing that Thumper had finally broken his silence. Before they could respond, they glanced up to see Boulder tumbling down the mountain. It landed right on the line in front of them. Rusty was petrified. As they started slowly reversing, Boulder followed. It's rolling along our line! The workers ran for safety, and Rusty's driver threw the throttle wide open. Faster! Panicked Mr. Hugh. The little diesel rocketed back down the line as Boulder gave chase. A quick worker diverted them into a siding that went uphill. Rusty's frames shook as Boulder thundered past. We need to go after it! They cried. We have to warn the yard! Meanwhile, Skarloey was heading up the line with some trucks for the quarry. As they passed through the ravine, he saw Boulder rolling towards him. What is that? Gasped his driver. No time to find out! Exclaimed Skarloey. The truck screamed as Skarloey shot backwards. They rattled past the signal box. Help! He wailed. The signaler thought fast and diverted them into a siding where Renius was taking on water. What the? The trucks lay piled up and the water tower had been knocked down. The two little old engines lay dazed, dented, and soaked. What is the meaning of this? Yelled Renius as Rusty pursued. Better a smash than a squash, muttered Skarloey. At the yard, Percy was idling in the shed. While he waited for his trucks to be loaded, Bertram entertained him with his stories. And so I chased him right out of the mine. No 11th century spectre can scare an old warrior. That's fascinating, peeped Percy. But what would you do if he ever came back? Before Bertram could answer, Boulder came rampaging into the yard. It's headed right for us! Shrieked Percy. On the contrary, declared Bertram, so we meet again. On guard! Bertram charged towards Boulder, but it just rolled past him for Percy's shed. Percy shut his eyes and braced for impact. Boulder had finally been stopped, but the yard was a terrible mess. Percy lay buried in the rubble as Rusty bustled in. Is everyone all right? They panted. Somehow, was all that Percy could stutter. Bertram just looked down solemnly at the rail. Soon, the thin controller arrived on board Duke, along with the fat controller and the breakdown crew. They tensely surveyed the wreckage. The cost of all this damage is going to delay the reopening of the old line, grumbled the thin controller.
Beg pardon, sir, interjected Duke, but there's a reason why my old railway chose not to build a quarry there. Strange instances.
And what is that supposed to mean?
It means, said the fat controller, that we should have left this part of the island alone.
The engines could only agree. The new quarry was immediately closed. Thumper was sent to the north of the island to work in the quarry where the rails didn't reach. Boulder was moved to a valley nearby the line. Without the gravity to move, it could do no more harm, and there was no more talk of King Godred. Whenever Rusty passes by, they swear they can see its face, staring at the mountain where it once stood, proud and silent.